Hello, my lovely wolf pack. Welcome back to episode 2 of my creepy podcast. If you haven't seen my last podcast and my last video, links in the description, or you can check the end screen. I promise this time when I edit the video, last podcast I did, it was like edited perfectly, but at the same time you can kind of see under the picture, and this was supposed to be an only audio podcast, so I'll try to edit better. But yeah, last episode was about spirits, and if you're not familiar with this podcast series I'm doing on my channel now, where we talk about creepy things, not just ghosts, but everything in general, but each episode is strictly on that subject. So last video we talked about spirits. This podcast we're going to be talking about stalkers. I've had plenty of stalkers, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have too. Sorry, my bad. You people have had some too. You know, because apparently, I have to make that clear. Because if I say you guys, I don't just mean men. I just say that about everyone. That's why I call bro. That's just my thing. So if I offend anyone, I'm sorry. But anyways, onto the subject. This is a really touchy subject. I'm gonna go into detail about what a stalker actually is. But before I do that, remember to like and subscribe to the channel and follow me on everything. Hit that notification bell. We've been getting a lot more subs and views, so I thank you guys for that. If you're new to this channel, what's up? Please join the wolf pack. We are growing every single day, and it is so awesome. So if you guys could leave in the comments hashtag stalker, and the first person I will pin and heart your comment. But in today's video, what exactly is a stalker? Well, I'm going to go into detail. If someone were to a stalker is someone who is persistent but not in a good way. For an example, say a man were to meet a woman at a bar, and he says, "Excuse me, ma'am," all polite like, "May I have your number? Because, you look nice and I want to go out." The woman politely declines and says, "Thank you anyways." And then he replies with, "Bitch, you're ugly. I don't even like you." But then proceed to blow up her phone, send her text messages, find her on social media, and of course going to her house and stalking her. Even just watching someone is stalking. Not really, I don't mean like gazing from afar. I mean like constantly being outside their house, staring out at their binoculars, hacking through their shit, stalking. Okay? Now, there are two types of stalkers. Okay? There are the ones that love you so much they want to be with you, and the others, they hate you so much they want to kill you. There's also a difference between stalkers and online stalking. Stalking is when you are in person, and of course online stalking means online. So, there you go. And I personally have some stalkers of my own. Even when I was like 10, I had stalkers. So I'm gonna share some of my stories, and then hopefully we can finish with some other stalker stories that I've heard of and come across over time. One of which, I'm gonna do my stories first. So here we go. The first stalker story is pretty recent, actually. A couple years ago, I was on Facebook, and some random guy, he messaged me. He says, "Hey, I'm gonna send you a friend request." So I said, "Alright, cool. He seems like a cool guy." And I just thought he was a metalhead. The way he dressed and the way he posts seems kind of something like a metalhead would post. And I love metal myself, so I was like, alright, maybe we have some stuff in common. So I accepted a friend request and we started talking. At first, he was pretty nice. So over time, I said, "Hey, maybe you should check out my YouTube channel, because I do a lot of cool stuff on there, and maybe you'd like it, maybe you won't." He says, "Alright, so I'll check it out," and there you go. Well, eventually one day he asked me if I wanted to join his satanic cult. I politely said, "No thank you, I'm a pagan," but I politely replied with no, because I'm just trying to be polite. And he says, "Alright." The next day he asked me again, and again, and again, and again, and after so long of asking and saying no, I'm like, "Listen, dude, I don't want to join it. I don't want to. You ask again, I'm going to block you. Okay? Because at this point, it was aggravating. You know, I don't know how many times I have to say no before it clicks in that I don't want to join it. Okay? You want to invite someone else. So he gets pissed, and then so I block him. He gets all his like loser friends to eventually stalk me and all this shit. I had to block him too. Okay? Come to find out, he made multiple accounts on Facebook to harass me, and I've reported him multiple times. Then, when I blocked him on everything, Facebook eventually caught on because of all the reports I've given him, and he's not the only one who has done this to. I'm not the only one he's victimized with this shit. And so many people, including myself, have reported him so many times with different accounts, and I don't know if you guys can know this, but say you have a Facebook account and you sign up with your email or Gmail, and then you say, hey, this account was blocked, I want to create another one. You can create multiple accounts with the same email on Facebook. So when someone would use the same email address or Gmail to create a Facebook account, you probably couldn't tell, but Facebook can. Say your email is, I don't know, awesomeguy13@gmail.com, and you make 2 accounts, 2 different names, 2 different people. The users can't tell, but Facebook, on the other hand, it can tell. All it has to do is look at the emails or Gmails connected to each account, and if they're the same exact one, same person. That's how they can tell. So he was permanently banned. He was legit banned. I'm not talking about Facebook jail. I'm talking about legally he is not allowed to be on there. So he found me on Instagram. And again, he eventually was blocked a couple months later from all the fucking threats and shit. He even went so far as to send me and my friends some videos of him creeping around people's houses. He sent me and my, who is now my ex-friend, but at the time she was my friend. And I'm not going to get into why we stopped being friends, but along the lines, he sent her a video of him stomping mice to death. He cut a bucket of rats or some shit that he would take one out and crush it with his feet, stomp it to death. And then, of course, he nearly got me arrested because he apparently, one of the things he did was he would Photoshop me in different things. Well, first of all, one of the things he Photoshopped me in was a screenshot of a conversation with like a 12-year-old girl. And what he did was kind of stupid, because he texted a 12-year-old girl who I have never seen this. I don't know who this is, but he texted a picture of sent a porn picture, and it was a picture of naked. It was him naked. He didn't show his face, but I assumed it was either him or a picture he got off Google. And he sent this little girl that, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm a 12-year-old girl," and proceeded to text her, "I don't care, let's hook up, blah blah blah." So he takes my photo, and the reason I say this is, the reason I didn't even get arrested because of this shit is because instead of putting my picture over his photo to make it look like I'm sending it, he put my photo over the girl's photo. So, I mean, he made it look like I'm telling everyone I'm a 12-year-old girl. Hate to break it to you, but unless I got this biology thing wrong, I'm a male, and I'm 21. And at the time, I was like 15. So, I don't understand. And then he's also printed out blank images from Google of police reports. Didn't even edit no words and said, see, this guy's a pedophile. Here's a police report to prove it. Number one, it didn't even have someone holding it. It didn't even look like someone had it on a table. It looked like a stock image of a blank police report. Didn't even edit nothing into it. Just blank. Then goes on to proceed that all pagans are pedophiles. And I'm just like, how did you get to that conclusion? It's possible to be a pagan and a pedophile, but to say every pagan is a pedophile is false. You know, it's possible to be part of 2 different groups. So, I just don't understand. How do you get to that conclusion? I just don't understand things. So that was one of my stalkers. I also had a stalker when I was 9 or 10 years old. So basically, I was hanging out with my friend Haley, and she had a dad who was quite violent and unstable, and looked like he's on psych meds, but also drinks whiskey with it, which I shouldn't have to explain. That's a bad idea. And he apparently got pissed because I didn't kiss her or something. Apparently Haley tried to kiss me, but I said no, and I don't remember this happening at all. Like, Haley was my friend, and she saw me as a friend, so there was no kissing involved. I mean, the only thing that I can consider sexual is me, my sister, and her were playing Truth or Dare, and she dared me to kiss her leg. And again, I was like 9 or 10, so I didn't really get the point. She was around like 11 or 12, so we were kind of in the same range of age. But still, I mean, what? So, I'm just thinking, what? Where did he get this from? I asked Haley, and she said she never said any of this. Neither did her mom. He was just out of his mind. And then, of course, I said, fuck this shit. So me and my sister went home, and on the entire way there, he stalked me with his truck. When my mom came out with her BB gun, or her pellet gun, that kind of it looked like a real gun. So she came out with it, and he left. Of course, every time I left the house, almost every single time, his truck would be somewhere near me, either behind me, in front of me, on the side. I could just be getting the mail, and he'd be like across the street. As soon as I noticed him, he would peel out. There was that. One time I was at home, and my sister told me that the same truck tried to run her down. It was the same dad. It was her dad. And I remember this one time, there's something called I used to live in Slidell, and in this city, there's this bridge, right? You can either go through the highway, go through the woods, or one of those two will lead you there. And as soon as you do, you cut through this like short space. It's like in between someone's house and a canal. And once you cross that little patch of grass, you'll see a bridge. And in that bridge, you go underneath and you smoke pot. It was called the weed spot. Everyone knew it. At the time, I didn't smoke weed there, but a lot of people did. And I would go there with my friends, and we'd just hang out there and stuff. And it was just our thing. Well, I was coming back from there. My friend went home, and I was going home, and I was gonna watch TV. And on the way there, this black truck, speeds out of nowhere, and I'm on and before you ask, was I in the highway? No, I wasn't. I was actually in the bike lane. I was so far in the bike lane, I was like in the grass, so I was not in the way of the highway. And this car comes up speeding out of nowhere. I don't know, this black truck. Is like a Ford or some shit, just speeds out of nowhere and turns towards me, like they're gonna try to hit me. So I jump, and it misses and just drives off. Now, at first I didn't connect it to him because I thought maybe it was just some idiot, and because this was a black Ford, and Haley's dad's truck was like a silver grayish truck. I don't know what brand, so I don't know. But I didn't really connect it. But I was walking, 2 days later, I was walking down the street that leads to her house. I wasn't going to her house, but I was walking down the street because I like to take walks. And at passing her house, I saw the exact same black truck. So I take a picture and show it to my mom. Cops got involved, and he was arrested. So, yeah. Her mom actually got full custody, and she moved away because her mom didn't want to leave him because she was scared of him, And yeah, that was my stalker. And what? I was only a kid, man, and because of a rumor that you heard, you're gonna try to kill me over a rumor. What? So, yeah, that was kind of stupid. I have no clue what I did. Usually you hear these stories of dad getting pissed because you kissed their daughter, right? But I didn't even do that. It was just a rumor. So, like, I don't understand, what I could possibly have done wrong that would warrant someone trying to kill me. It was just a rumor. Okay, a rumor. I've tons of rumors spread about me. But, I didn't say anything. Yeah, he was actually, my mom put a restraining order on him, and that's the last I heard of him. And I don't understand stalkers, but whatever. I think I should move on to, the next, part of this podcast where I read other people's experiences. So, this is my newest stalker, posted by twice_shy. I have been receiving weird emails from someone who posted a personal ad on Craigslist Casual Encounters. The email sends to me TO announcement, an anonymous reply address that Craigslist creates when you post an ad that then forwards to my actual email address. After some research, I have learned that this creep who is writing to me through this relay is someone I met briefly after he responded to an ad I posted on Craigslist selling a house 6 years ago. Apparently, this maniac copied and saved that anonymous reply email address from my long expired ad and decided 6 years later to use that email address to message me. Now he is sending me emails that appear that I responded to his "Any ladies up to and horny" ad from March 22, 2013. The most fun part of this wonderful story is that I have another stalkerish ex-boyfriend who is constantly breaking into my email, Facebook, and every other account, who is now asking me questions about who is this guy and why am I replying to NSA sex ads on Craigslist. Okay, before I finish this story, NSA sex ads on Craigslist? The National Security Association had sex ads on Craigslist. That's the first I'm hearing of it. But, hey, NSA, they do a lot. Whatever. If they need to get some, then whatever, I'm all for it. Just a little weird, Oh, and it's so great to be a woman. How I love creeps that come out from under a rock to harass. 6 years ago, I couldn't have told this guy's name if I had a gun to my head, but he's obsessing about me. It's insane. Okay, so I'm gonna pronounce this person's name, Deadpoolian. Okay, mine isn't that special, but here it is, all at the same time. A few years ago, my anxiety was high. I already at a point in my life where I was a little out of it, but that was amplified by a lot when I kept repeatedly hearing noises outside my window. Like every single night, it was just my parents up, and I get them to look outside, but they never found anything. I started to think I was going crazy, or just subconsciously seeking attention. One morning, my grandfather discovered one of our lawn chairs beneath our bedroom window. It's pretty high up, and the bottom plane is foliage. What? The bottom pane is fogged. Okay, whatever. So I'm not sure the chair even helped, but it was left there regardless. The next night, heard something again. Nothing the night after. However, we checked outside and discovered something that made my stomach churn. A small stepladder was sitting directly outside of my window, back just enough to allow someone to sit on it but still see. On my windowsill there was a bag of now cold McDonald's, which just sits up, which is just straight up, uh, which is just up the street from me. Sorry, not wearing my glasses. Most of the food was still in there, but still, some fucker had been watching me doing absolutely nothing of interest in my room without me knowing for I don't know how fucking long. The cops were called, nothing happened. I felt crazier than ever. No one was to be found, but at least we had some evidence that someone that shouldn't have been hovering around our house was at my window watching intently through the blinds in a space between two curtains. Heard noises the next night. Ran outside nothing earlier in the night. I'd sewn my curtains together, which hopefully made it harder to see in, and apparently it did, because now the fucker had taken climbing on top of the air conditioning unit, and from there climbing onto the Herbie garbage can, then standing on that so that he could see above where the drapes went, and the handprints, shoe prints, were left on the lid to prove it. I should also mention that we were now, there were holes now in my screen. I heard these holes being created. He took a stick or sharpened it somehow. We found it outside my window. It was trying to stealthily break away the screen a bit by bit. The hole is still there. The next night, I distantly heard the gravel near my window crunch. There was simply no mistaking my sound as stealthy, as I could let out a small moan he surely heard and rolled out of view. As if we were sleeping, then presented myself against the wall out of view of the window. Very quietly opened my door and crept down the hall. My heart was pounding. Normally I knock on my parents' door, but I knew the slightest sound would make the bastard bolt. So I quietly opened their door, sneaked in, then informed them that there was without a single doubt, someone was outside my window. They didn't mind the intrusion and got up and dressed and formulated a plan and crept into the back door. I ran to the bathroom and stood on the edge of our tub and peeked outside the window just as back door was thrown open and my parents ran outside like morons. And sure enough, they saw him. They started screaming as the man leaped off the Herbie and bolted down the driveway, which was what I was looking at. They screamed all sorts of horrible things at the top of their lungs. You sick motherfucker, I'm going to kill you from my dad, and you freak from my mom. He ended up escaping across the street, hiding behind a house adjacent to us. The balls on this bastard. He kept peeking out at us as well as stood outside, but we wanted to leave him there so the cops could finally nab him. They were called, they came, they searched, but they never found him. The bastard must have hopped a fence or some shit. Still to this day, I hear sounds outside my window even in the dead of winter. But he's never out there. He might have just been a peeper, but he targeted me specifically and for months until he was almost caught. What really pissed me off is that once he lost interest in me because it was too unsafe, he moved on to a house down the street with two little girls. He actually managed to get in through the window, and their dad caught him just standing in the middle of the room watching them sleep, jacking it, I think. I still don't know. I still don't think he was caught even then. All I know is that it could have been worse, but it messed me up. Trust the men in my neighborhood. Even less now. The men around here stare blankly. I've even been chased home by one. I've had a guy try to jerk me into his car when I was passing him, telling him no, I didn't need a ride, and to leave me alone. All these years, later, I still hear shit outside my window and freak out. It's fucked up. I turn out my lights entirely to exercise. I do my best to avoid windows. When I undress, it just scares me. Even though it wasn't a huge deal. TLDR, whatever, Peeper fucked up my sense of safety, targeted me for months, was almost caught and then left me alone, we think. He moved on to a house with 2 little girls and jacked it in their room. Oh, okay, so that was a typo. So yes, what is wrong with people? I literally do not understand how you could even do that. But yeah, I just can't. Why would you do that? Like, why the fuck? Like, I don't understand people. So, now that we've got my stories and other people's experiences in mind, and I've described how to tell the difference between a stalker and all this other shit, I've also explained the different types of stalkers. So this is where I'm going to end the video or the podcast. Please like and subscribe to the channel and follow me and everything. And I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.